What is up guys, Fahir here from AwesomeTuts.com and welcome to the first video where we are going to download Unity, the game engine that we are going to use to create all of our games. So let's get started right away and go and download the engine, and I'm gonna just move away from the screen like that and I am off. So now we are in my favorite browser, which is Chrome. You have your own favorite browser. Just go on google.com, which is, ask Google. Everybody does that. So just ask Google, type in Google, download Unity, and voila, you are good to go. So you will see here this download link, the first one that you are going to click. So I'm gonna open it in a new tab, and this is where it will take me. So simply, when you see this right here, you're gonna click on choose your Unity plus download. And here we have the versions. Now don't worry, right away I'm gonna say don't worry about the plus and the pro version. We don't need this because we can use personal, which is totally free. So simply click on the personal version and voila, it will bring you right here. I'm gonna click here, try personal, and it is going to finally take me to the download page, and I'm gonna agree to everything that Unity is asking me to agree to. Probably still my, house and car and whatever in these terms of services, but I'm not gonna read that. I'm just gonna agree blindly like we all do. So then you are gonna click here on download installer for macOS, or depending on which OS you're using. If it's Windows, you will see Windows. So when you click on that, it will download that installer. It will start downloading it. Now I'm gonna discard it because I already downloaded. And I'm gonna show you in a moment how you can install it, but it's like any other software. Just click next, 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 and you're good to go. So if I go here also in Google, you can type download Unity version, and you see here, if I click on the download archive, it is going to take me to the archive of the versions. So Unity 2018 point and all of the versions for 2018, 2017, 5, 4, and 3. Because when you start working in Unity and you do some projects, you will also, if you do freelance, sometimes you get a project that is made in an earlier version of Unity, so you will need to download that version as well. So it's a good thing to know where you can download previous versions of Unity. So simply type on Google, download Unity version, and voila, click on this Unity download archive. So now that we have downloaded the installer, you're gonna open it by double clicking on it, and this is what you will see. You're gonna click on continue or next, 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 or depending on your OS that you're using. Now this is right here the components that we need. So this is what we need. We need the engine, so Unity engine, we need that. Visual Studio for macOS, or if you are on Windows, you probably have that installed by default. If you want the documentation, which is the API reference, but we have that online, so you don't need to waste space on your computer. For the Android build support, this is if you want to make games for Android. So I'm assuming a lot of you guys want to create mobile games, so you're gonna check for Android and iOS build support. This is, again, if you want to create games for those platforms. And all of these here, tvOS, Linux, Mac, so these are all platforms for which you can build games. And if you want to build games for those platforms, you need to install these build supports. After that, you're simply gonna click on continue, and then you're gonna, type in your password and so on and so forth. Select the destination, continue, download, and it will install on its own. I'm gonna go back because I already installed it, so I don't need to redo that again. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna open Unity here, so that we can actually see what we have here. This is what you will see. This is the screen that you will see. If you are not signed in, it will prompt you to sign in. You can do that with Google or Facebook, or you can create your own account, or you can skip it. This is just so that you create an account on Unity, because you can do a lot of things like use Unity ads, which I cover as well, and also use analytics, so on and so forth, but we're not gonna talk about all of that now, but I'm just telling you why you should have a Unity account. I'm gonna skip all over that, and this is what we see when we want to create a new project. Now, of course, you will not see anything here. You will not see anything because, if it's your first time installing Unity, then you will see here an empty space. And if you want to create a new project, you're gonna click on new here. So you have the new tab, you're gonna click on that, and it's gonna take you right here. This is the name of the project. So this one right here, this is the name of the project that you have. So I'm gonna name it tester just for the example. And here on these three dots, you can click on to select the destination where you wanna save it. So I'm gonna save it right here on my desktop, and I am going to leave it there. This is a template. Do we want to create a 2D game or a 3D game? Depending on which game you want to create, I'm going to put here 2D and I'm going to click on create project so that we can actually go in Unity and take a look at its interface. Depending on the speed of your computer, and my computer is pretty fast, but sometimes, well, you need to wait a moment or two for Unity to download. Now I can sing for you for this time that we're waiting, like no, but I don't know if you like it. I like it anyways. Just kidding a little bit. So this is the Unity interface that we see. Probably for you, you're gonna see something like this. So I'm gonna go here on the default, and this is what you are going to see. Because this layout, as in any program, if you worked in Photoshop or whatever, you can arrange all of these tabs. You can rearrange them, put them wherever you want, but these are the main tabs that you have. The hierarchy on the left, this is where all our game objects that are in the scene, we will see them here. We will talk about all of that. We will talk about game objects, don't worry about that, so that will be covered. This is the project tab. This is where you're gonna store your assets like images, sounds, 3D models, so on and so forth. You can also take this slide, which is at the bottom right corner of the tab for the project, and you can move it left and right to resize the icon sizes. Now, this is the scene tab, this right here, where you see this rectangle of the camera. This is the scene tab. The scene is Unity's world space where we actually put our game objects like, cubes or spheres or our 3D models. And this is where they are going to interact with other game objects. This is how we are going to create our game in the scene. The game tab that we have here is what we see when we run our game. This is what we see. And right here below the game tab, you have this where it says free aspect. So right here, you can click on it. You see it's a free aspect. This means that you can set the resolution of this blue screen. The blue screen is what we see. So we're going to click here. And if I set here 1280 by 720, which is the HD resolution, you will see that we have now the HD resolution, or full HD, which is a little bit larger, or even portrait mode, which is right here. Now, these resolutions here will depend on the build for which game you're going to create or for which platform you're going to create your game. So here are the builds, but we will talk about that as well. So here is where you will change. If you want to build a game for iOS, you're going to click here and click switch platform. Same for the Android, but we will cover that later on. Don't worry about that in my tutorials, that is. If you don't have here 480 by 800 resolution, you can click on the plus button here and create your own custom. So this is the name of your resolution, and this is the width and the height of the resolution. This is how I created this 480 by 800. The asset store, we don't need it, so I'm simply going to close it. This is where you can get and download assets from the asset store. And in the inspector panel on the right side, right here, this is where you will see properties of game objects. So here in the hierarchy, I have the sample scene and it has the main camera. If I select the main camera, and the main camera is the one responsible for showing us everything in our game, like game objects, 3D models, so on and so forth. So in the inspector panel, we will see properties of it. Its position, its rotation, its scale, the components attached, and we will talk about all of this, the position, the rotation, the component. This is just the navigation so that you can see what or which tabs we have. If by any chance here in the game tab or scene tab, you don't have that. So if I don't have the scene tab, I'm going to close it. I don't have it anymore. How can I open it? Simply go under Window and right here under General. So we have the scene tab, the game, the inspector, the hierarchy, project, console. We have here the rendering tab, which is the lighting settings. We have the animation tab for the animator and the animator parameters and animator and animation tab. We have the audio for the mixer. We have all of these here. You see AI navigation. Simply, if we don't have the scene, you're going to click here on the scene and voila, here it is. Usually it will be floating like this. So you can dock it. So you can simply select it with your left mouse button, simply select it and move it away. And you can put it here, you can put it here, wherever you want to put it. I put mine usually here. And this is my default layout. I'm going to show you how I arrange things. So this is my layout. This is how I arrange things. My hierarchy is right here. The inspector panel is here. And the game and the scene tab are on the left. Here at the bottom, I have the project, animation, and animator tab, and the console tab. In the console, we will display everything that we have in our game, like, when we have errors, or if we want to print something here, we can do that via code. So this is just the navigation to see what we have in Unity. While we start working in it more and more, you will get used to all of this and you will master it in a short period of time. This is not hard at all. So again, in the scene tab, this is where we are going to put our game objects such as backgrounds, 3D models, so they can interact with each other. The game tab is the one responsible for showing us those game objects, so such as the background, the players, so on and so forth. I'm not going to import images to show you that. We will see that in the next video, so don't worry about that. And during our development cycle, so don't worry about that. Everything will be covered. So the game tab will show what we will see in the game. That is when we run the game on the computer or on a mobile device or wherever. In the project tab, this is where you are going to import all of your projects. So the 3D models and all other assets that we are going to use in our game. In the animation tab, this is where we are going to animate our characters, and we will see that how that works. The animator tab is where we control those animations that we animated in the animation tab. The console is used for warnings, so it will display errors that we have, mistakes, so on and so forth. The hierarchy tab will display game objects that we have in the scene. So if I go here in the hierarchy and right click and create a 3D object, let's say a cube, and here we have a cube, you see this one right here. So automatically we see that cube, and the cube is right here in the hierarchy. So we see its properties in the inspector panel, such as the transform, which is the position, rotation, and all other components that are attached on that game object. And we will talk about all of that. So everything will be clear. Don't worry about that. So I'm going to remove it now. So as I said, in the inspector panel, you see the properties of the game object. I also have here lightning, but we are not going to talk about that now. In the navigation, we will see that later on when we progress in our tutorials and courses. So Fahir here from awesometuts.com. This was about Unity and its interface, and I will see you guys in the next video.